So when you made that decision to go into real estate, you didn't really have, did you have interest in it from a sales standpoint, or was it just like, okay, I have this investment property, you know,
Yeah.
we're kind of going that direction, or was it just this one conversation that was just like, that's it, that's what I'm going to go and do?
I love meeting people. I mean, you always meet some people that, but you know, but all in all, I do love people. I love homes. I love working on homes. I love decorating, uh, home decor. Um, so, and yeah, I just really, I've had a lot of people help me in my life, and it's really like a pay forward kind of thing. I feel anything I can do to help change someone else's life,
Yeah.
I really, it brings me a lot of joy to make things happen for people with, it's a home. It's not, it's not a, we're not dealing with electronic gadgets or something like that. It's something so meaningful
Yeah.
that we can
No,
be a
I
part
I have grown immensely in that mindset. When I got into the business, I was young and just cocky, right? Not really wise in my years. And Jared, who's on our team still, he would always say, we're changing people's lives. And I'd be like, yeah, yeah, we are, and just kind of like not blow it off, but just kind of brush it to the side. And over the last 4 or 5 years, it's that impact, right? And really looking at real estate, owning real estate and selling real estate can really change a lot of families. And I think as I've gotten older, just realizing, what that impact could be. Um,
Yeah. We literally have people's lives in our hands.
yeah.
That's how I look at it.
Yeah. I mean, even like to this day, when I got in 2011, obviously we're trying to help people navigate, the downturn and, getting out of foreclosure, coming out of short sales or, bankruptcies and, things like that. And now to today, it's like, man, you have all of this equity in your home. How can you maximize those things and take advantage of those things to really kind of take your wealth or whatever to the next stages for your family? And, I
It's
think
mind
about that.
blowing. What
Yeah,
it's
I think about that a lot,
mhm.
and, how clients can take that money and buy, one or two investment properties now and grow that. So,
And those who didn't are really regretting it.
yes, that is true. So,
Mhm.
Shelley, when you decided to get into real estate, were you still doing the babysitting and stuff
Nope.
on the side, or was it just like,
It was done.
that's
I
it?
was done. I was done. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Do you know what? This was not planned. Oh my gosh, I can't even believe this. So the last check, my last week of babies, and I knew I was going to be done after all this time. I mean, this is my life, and
Yeah.
I treated myself to a ring from Tiffany's, right? Just this ring.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
It's still, yes, yes. Um,
That's awesome.
yeah, I know, right? So it's just this mesh ring that is a staple. With Tiffany's, but that was what I bought myself, since that was the end of my own having my own money. Uh, yeah, and that was back. So that would have been 2007 was
So you
when
got in. You got
I got in
in.
07.
Okay. Walk me, when you got in, I know you mentioned that you had a lot of family support.
Mhm.
Um, did you have any doubters?
I didn't. I really didn't. I did not. Everybody that knew me, cared about me, loves me, felt that. Well, of course, it made sense that it just it matched my personality
Yeah.
and who
Yeah.
I am, and who I am. So I when I became a realtor, I joined under another agent. I was a licensed assistant.
Okay.
Um, I thought, yeah, I went that route. She was my safety net, kind of learned the ropes. Thought I would maybe for like a year, and then I would, go out on my own. But 1 year ended up being 4 years. So,
What
yeah,
was
I believe
was
in
joining that agent by design? Like, did you know that you were were wanting that support, or was it kind of like proposed to you by someone else?
I did, because my husband at the time, he went to high school with her, and she had been a realtor for a few years. She knew that I was going to be that I was interested going to Hondros, and so she wanted to be in touch with me, and it was, yeah. So I met her through him, and stayed with her in the HER Bexley office from '07 to 11. Mm-hmm.
And what made you kind of decide that it was time for you to kind of go out on your
So
own?
during the time I was with her, 2007 and 8, and all right, there was like a lot of foreclosures, right? A lot of
Right.
foreclosures, short sales. Well, fortunately, in my office, there were two agents. They only dealt with REOs. They were listing agents for bank properties. That's all they did. They did not work with buyers. So when they would get their leads, phone calls or anything, they would write name, number, and they would hand it to me, and we would do a referral fee. I would, by the time I paid her and gave them a referral fee, I got what was left over. But I'll tell you what, that both of these people, they really helped grow my business, because it's the domino effect. Like the people that I helped during that time, just what led into one thing after another with these clients that I had. One of which led into, because of one of the leads that they gave me. It ended up being it led me to bank business, where I became a bank in Cincinnati. I became their go-to. Well, this was after I went on my own.
Yeah.
During that 4 years, I kept people, I was hearing, you need to go out on your own. You don't need to be working under another agent. But it was fear, right? We let fear get in the way. And I did that for a very long time. Well, I could have made the change much earlier, but I did it.
And you had the support, right? You had the the security a little bit, but also you had, at the time, I'm assuming you were selling from 07 to 11.
Oh yeah.
Right? Those leads that were coming in. Yeah. So then you also had a funnel, a pipeline for your business. And I always tell agents all the time, I got in with REOs. Ryan, my team lead and my mentor, we sold off a foreclosure package of 120 properties when I met him.
Okay.
And I always tell people, man, it didn't matter to me. A dollar's a dollar. It didn't matter if it was a $30,000 house, or back then, $150,000 house, right?
Right.
It was, man, how many deals have come from that time period for me over the course of my career? Insane.
It's staggering, isn't it?
Insane.
It is. It's staggering. So one of these people that was referred to me from one of those agents, they wanted to see a property, and it wasn't on the MLS though. They drove by it had this sign. They told me what the name and number was. Well, one thing led to another, and they ended up purchasing this home. Okay, we went in contract. So I got creative, and this guy's name was Greg at the bank, and I called him and I said, hey, I'm not actually calling about the house we were working. I said, actually, I just want to know, is there anything I can do for you here in the Columbus market? Do you have, if there's anything that I can do to help you sell some real estate here, let me know. Well, he did. He sent me this this apartment building that it was in a bad area. It was so bad. And but I sold it, and one thing led to another, and I ended up they sent me all kinds of business from 2000, probably 11 to I don't know, like 15, 16.
Those of us,
business.
Yeah. And those of us, I'm just thinking, like, we've had to have done a deal or something together, because those of us that did the REOs, and a lot of them, usually it was a tight knit, like you knew who the players were. So
Yes.
we've had to have done something.
You get used to the lockbox combinations like OCN or
based off of who the listing agent is. Yes.
Yes. Yes, and
Yeah.
back in that time, I tell you, we had those sign writers. Like you were a rock star if you were putting like a sold in 30 days
Yeah.
on the sign. I still have those sold in 30 days, 60 days, 90 days.
I joke with some of the newer agents that, are on our team that I get to talk with on a daily basis.
Yeah.
Well, and people used to make fun of Ryan and I all the time, but we used to have this banner that for an open house, we would do open houses at the foreclosures. And we
Right.
used to have this banner that would say free list of foreclosures, open house, right? And like, that was our marketing way to get people to come into the door. And we were holding them
Give
in
them
these
something of value.
and we were holding them in these dumpy properties, but investors was what we cut our teeth on back then.
That's
So,
right. That's right. Yep. And I'll tell you, those investors, they know people. I remember selling, and he's a realtor now, so I hope he sees this. But when he wasn't a real, he bought a property for like I don't know, it was like 13,000 or something like that, right? Well, like a couple years later, I saw something that reminded me of him. I reached out to him. I was anyhow. He ended up giving me a lead and I ended up selling a property in Buckeye Lake
wow.
just by reaching out to him, like as a
Yeah.
contact, just a touch. Um,
Yeah.
uh, you just never know. You just never
Right.
know, like, where you'll get your referrals.
And if you do your job, I always tell people, just build your past client database any way possible. Just build your past client database any way possible, because you just never know what may happen 2 years from now, 5 years from now, 7 years from now, whoever they may
So
introduce
true.
you to.
Mhm.
And that was just a way for me to kind of get started. So